How is this different for you? This is, if I'm not mistaken, the first time you've come into camp being the number one guy and not having to go through a competition.
Yeah, it's different. It'll be fun to, I guess just kind of cut it loose in camp, not necessarily worry about, what the other guy's doing, what you're doing. More just, trying to improve yourself every day instead of trying to be perfect. Really just taking risks, trying to throw before you're ready sometimes, trying to throw with timing and trusting your guys. And I think that's really what's important for this camp, and we got to get a lot out of it.
Yeah, obviously, you work some communication, improve some communication things in the spring with new staff and whatever. How far along that path are you?
I think we're going in the right direction. It's not there yet, but that's what you got your 29 practices of camp for, is to really smooth over everything that didn't quite get covered in spring ball. Spring ball, a lot of the bulk install was just kind of, every week stuff, not necessarily your wrinkles for each game plan. So we got to just continue to, detail the offense, maybe not the quite as common plays, but things that are still very important, and just keep working at it every day.
Also, when he sat down with you, he learned a lot, and you guys had some frank discussions back and forth. What did you learn from those discussions?
I've just learned a lot about him as a coach. I think he's, I really like him as a coach. I think he's a good player. I mean, not a good player, a good coach. I think he's, very honest with his players, very open with his players, and, he just sees the game a little differently than some people, and, I think he'll be a lot of fun to work with this year.
Do you think you will benefit from the way he sees the game? Will he be able to do some things maybe past coaches either couldn't do or didn't have whatever, or wouldn't do or whatever?
Yeah, I think, he's shown for many years that he's a very good offensive mind. He's a very good play caller. He does a good job mixing it up in his play calls. And, his past 2 years at Wisconsin, his last 2 years as a coordinator, Scott Tolzien and Russell both had very, very good years. So, to see what he's been able to do as a coordinator and as a head coach has been, I think, really reassuring for me, and I'm really excited to, see what I can do under him this year.
Do you think it's changing the way you play, or fitting what is being done to the way to what you can do?
Right. I think he does a good job of, really looking at the team that he's got and getting the most out of everyone. Putting people in position to do what they do really well. And, I think that's one of his strengths as a coach. And I think he does a great job preparing, not only his quarterbacks, but all the players. But I just know the amount of time that he puts in with the quarterbacks, and, is willing to just meet with you one-on-one, things like that, I think will really help me, especially since I won't have a ton of class this fall either.
Yeah. I saw it on Twitter. Someone said, Joel Stave is still at Wisconsin. Does it feel like that to you?
Yeah. I feel like I'm kind of that guy who's just, there's all those, like, someone like maybe Aaron Murray at Georgia, someone who's just kind of been around for forever. It's like, wow, there's no way he's still got eligibility left, but that's me. I still got some left, so I'm going to use it all up.
What do you think? How can you take a step from the player you've been the last 2 or 3 years to a different player, a better player?
I think the biggest thing is really trusting the guys. If you look at all the best quarterbacks in football, they all, have so much faith in their players around them. And you look at someone like Aaron Rodgers and how it seems like the passing game is always just working flawlessly because of the faith that he has in the receivers, the faith that the receivers have in him. It's all just it's a timing game, especially in the passing game. And as long as you can get that timing down and trust your guys that they'll be where they're supposed to be, it can make the passing game very efficient.
Is that different from the past? Is his things he does in the passing game different from what you're used to, or what you've seen?
A little bit.
You've seen a few coordinators.
Right. Right. Everyone's a little different. Everyone puts a little emphasis on certain things here and there. But one thing that he is always, very strict on and really harping on is timing, throwing with timing and throwing with trust in your guys. And if you can get that down and throw with timing, it can be very tough to defend.
You were laughing about you having several different offensive coordinators and quarterback coaches through your time. Has that been a plus or a minus? People would think it would be a minus, but were there some plus factors?
Yeah, I think there's definitely positives and negatives to it. A negative is obviously every spring ball meant it's time to learn a new offense also, and You know, you can't really ever gain that feeling of comfortability with the offense when it's constantly changing. But, you know, you get a lot of different perspectives. I really liked working under Coach Canada my freshman year. Coach Ludwig I thought was very good for my past 2 years. You know, I've learned a lot from all these guys. I've made a lot of good connections. So, you know, I think there's definitely positives from it also.
Joel, is there a level of uneasiness with Melvin not being back there this year for you as the quarterback?
You know, I think everyone, you know, you just kind of accept it. Obviously, Melvin was a tremendous player. You know, you don't replace him, but you do what you can to, you know, fill the void that he left. But, you know, I wouldn't say there's uneasiness. I think it's just a matter of, you know, we're all aware he's not going to be here anymore. We have to, you know, do different things offensively to kind of make up for, you know, the production that he had.
Wisconsin's the pick